Hey, Theo Zunich joins me now. He's the president and CEO of YSS Corp, trading on the TSX Venture?
TSX Venture.
Under the symbol YSS. Theo, welcome.
Thank you.
Theo, let's start with an overview. What is it exactly that YSS Corp does?
YSS is a pure play retailer in the cannabis industry.
Okay.
We've gone through a lot of growth over the summer. We were one store, about 20 employees early June. Today we're 12 stores open and probably about 140 total employees. A lot of growth, and it really came on the back of a couple acquisitions we did earlier in the year,
right,
as well as the Alberta regulatory environment opening up.
So are all of your stores in Alberta?
Currently, yes. Yep.
Okay. And are you planning to spread across the whole country?
Well, we looked quite hard at Ontario. We were hoping to see a little bit more of an open market in Ontario. Right now, it's tough to build a business around the regulatory framework in Ontario.
Really?
We're seeing some good opportunities in Saskatchewan and BC as well. BC's really grown. I think they're up to 70 licenses now.
Right.
And a lot of the municipalities have done a lot of work. And
sure.
So we're looking there. We're looking at Saskatchewan, but right now the core focus of our growth is Alberta.
Sales are the lowest in BC per capita than anywhere else in Canada. I'm not surprised by that, having spent half my life in BC in the prime of the dark market, and it always boggled my mind. I mean, I remember in my particular neighborhood, the thought of selling cannabis was quite laughable because everybody grew it, and it was a matter of exchanging cannabis just to show off what you'd been growing and comparing it to what your neighbor had done.
Everybody's got somebody.
Exactly, eh? So, so BC doesn't strike me as a very attractive market.
I think we have to be selective in BC. We're allowed up to 8 stores total.
Okay.
We will look at some premium locations. There's some great tourist destinations where you might not have the locals.
All right.
As well, we think that we are going to capture the black market over time. The prices are coming down from the wholesale perspective. Product quality is going up. We're getting Cannabis 2.0 products hitting the market soon. Those are all factors that we're positive on in terms of tapping some of that black market at least. Okay.
You say that relative to Ontario, Alberta's rules are much better. What is it about Ontario rules that makes it tough to do business here?
Yeah, it's really the ability to build a business plan and get a license.
Right.
Entering a lottery is not a business model.
Right.
So,
how are you going to finance that? I'm going to enter a lottery.
Yeah, and early in the year, I was dealing with a lot of shareholder calls around, what are you going to do? And really, Alberta had a licensing moratorium as well, which is why we went out and did some acquisitions. We had to do something. We had to do some business. Now with Alberta open, we know that when we build a store, we spend that capital. We have direct line of sight on cash flow payback on that investment. We have direct line of sight on when we can open that store.
Huh. Very cool. So what does the economics look like in your stores? You can only sell, obviously, government-sponsored product. Yep. And so there must be like a limited margin and a limited range of things you can do to improve that margin. You can't advertise.
Yeah, you're right. Advertising is tough. We've had a little success online, some posters, but news just dropped that it's getting even more restrictive.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is the restrictions around marketing also mean we don't have to spend a lot of money on marketing because nobody can.
Right.
And we don't have access to those traditionally expensive types of marketing. So we focus on what we can do. Word of mouth is a big seller in cannabis. If you think about how cannabis is sold really through the black market forever, it's a guy that smokes and you ask them. So it's really word of mouth, visibility of storefronts, focusing on stores that are grocery anchored, liquor anchored, fast food anchored.
Location.
It begins and ends in a location.
Right.
We know not all stores are equal. Right. We got to focus on quality over quantity.
Okay, so what do your economics look like? How much money are you making, or are you making money? Are you profitable?
Absolutely, we are. Across all, the stores that have been open in the last few weeks are still in that ramp up period, but the stores that we've had operating under Sweet Tree brand have been open since 2018, and the store that we bought in Red Deer was also open in 2018. Those stores are, north of probably $2.5–3 million in revenue a year. We target anywhere from kind of 16 to 19% store level cash flow margin out of those stores. So that would go against the corporate costs.
Interesting. How do you grow the business when you are location restricted. And I mean, I guess there's got to be a saturation point that comes at some point in a province like Alberta.
Yep, we look to Colorado for those stats. Colorado implies about 3,600 stores across Canada, the population against store count, and considering revenue, that would imply about $2.2 million per store across 3,600 stores across Canada. When we look at that in Alberta, we figure it's 450 stores at market saturation. The key is making sure you're one of those 400 to 450 stores making money 5 years down the road.
Right.
And it begins and ends with location.
Location, location, location. Okay, so tell me, are there any growers and suppliers of cannabis from the universe of LPs that are licensed in Canada who are regularly head and shoulders above the others in terms of what customers want?
We love looking at this kind of data. And we always put our customer first, so we always try to supply those products. When I think about a few that come to my mind, Afri's done a great job. They're good supply. They're RIF products. They're Broken Coast products. They all move well. Was pleasantly surprised by the launch of Color Cannabis, which is WeedMD's recreational arm.
Right.
They came in with a great wholesale price, allowed us to sell at under $10 a gram for not necessarily the highest THC product, but very nice, high quality product.
Really?
Those are a couple good examples. Those are the ones I like.
Right. And is the audience in Alberta very price sensitive, or is it more quality oriented?
Price sensitivity is bigger than people would expect.
Right.
I think it's indicative of the fact that we are maybe tapping into a little bit of the black market with those higher quality prices that we can sell for 10, maybe under $10 a gram. The higher price products do move, but not like the good. It's a balance, price quality. When we hit that good price quality balance, those products move.
Really?
Yeah.
So do you think that the Cannabis 2.0 products you were talking about, which I'm assuming is vapes and edibles, do you think those are going to displace a lot of the premium dried flower market?
I think to an extent, a little bit. I think that people like dried flower will continue to consume dried flower. I don't know what it's going to do to our revenue, and I don't want to try to project it, but I do think it's going to be positive for revenue across our stores. When I think about the vape market in California, I think it's pacing dried flower now. That just gives you an indication of how that oil vape market potential could be. And we're looking forward to it. And even the beverage line hasn't done as well in the U.S., but when I see some of the products that these LPs are going to bring from the beverage line, it gets me excited.
Yeah, right. Do you think that, or do you see a future where these other products provide a better margin for you as a retailer?
All indications are yes. It should be a better margin. It should be a more cost-effective product as well. Weighing gram by gram in a dried flower and then packaging it, especially if you're doing 1 gram, is somewhat inefficient and does impact the price we can sell for. Early indications are that margins will be better on the Cannabis 2.0 products. I don't like to predict the future, though. I'll tell you when I find out.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so then, do you have a sense that the vape crisis that's unfolding right now is going to maybe set back the evolution of the vape market in Canada's 2.0 program?
I hope not. I think it's a risk. In Canada, we do have Health Canada, all the way through this entire legalization process, have done everything with the consumer's health at front of mind. And I know that the regulations within Canada do restrict a lot of the things that are happening in the US. I hope that the people that operate to those higher standards and get those cartridges from well-renowned manufacturers and use the proper the proper inputs for those products. I hope that they can be an example of what it should be. Sure. Right?
Yeah. Okay, so finally, in your stores, how do you differentiate your store from other retail stores?
It begins and ends with location, but we do have to compete on everything else as well. Customer service is in incredibly close to heart. A big reason why we did the Sweet Tree acquisition in June. We brought in some backers of well-known restaurateurs in Calgary. They bring over 20 years of hospitality, retail, restaurant. The same way they train their restaurant staff is the same way we train all our staff. We have an academy that we've built, a proprietary academy that goes through a lot of the fun education around cannabis. Customer service always front of mind. And our store layout, it's a little different than some of our competitors. We don't have canna in the name, we don't have leaf, we don't have green, we don't have a cannabis leaf.
Right.
If you walk into our store, you're greeted by primary colors, a light store. It's inspired a lot out of travel and exploration and journey. You're going to see arrows. You're going to see even our menu boards. They're like the old school train stations that spin.
Oh, cool.
So we've had a lot of fun. We think we got a good retail environment and great staff.
Great. All right, Theo. Well, we'll wish you luck and look forward to having you back on the show. Sounds like it's going to be great. I can't wait to see the store. I'm going to be in Edmonton in October, so I'll come by.
Perfect. We just opened Edmonton last week.
Awesome. Thanks for joining me today.
All right. Thank you very much.